as always in this chapter, this is actually a pretty quick chapter. I mean, there's only 3 things. It all involves the same thing. It's find where 2 lines intersect. There are 3 techniques. One is graphing, one is substitution, one is elimination. We did 3 days of graphing. Then we've done 2 days of substitution. Today is the last day of substitution. It's just practice. I'm going to hand you a worksheet that also includes, thank you. I gave you a worksheet that also includes some graphing so that we don't completely forget it. I said that when we started that there will be a calculator portion and a non-calculator. The calculator portion is only obviously solved by graphing. So I'm going to give you, I don't know, it's probably going to be about 4. I don't need to do 20 of these because it's the same procedure. But I'll give you about 4 to do with the graphing calculator, and then the rest will all be done by hand. So typically what happens is I will hand you the non-calculator portion first. You get that done. You hand it back to me, and then I hand you the calculator portion. You knock out 4 in about 2 minutes, which is all it usually takes, and then away we go. So we do need to practice the graphing so that we don't forget it, towards the end. So all we're going to do today is I'm going to hand out the, by the way, get your homework out. We'll go over homework real quick, and then we will get right into the graphing calculator. I should say the worksheet, not the graphing calculator. All right, any questions on the homework, which was also a worksheet? And it was a worksheet with the answers. So, all right, yes, somebody said number. Let's take a look at number 8. Number eight. Let me just pull it up real quick, and that'll make it easier. That was what, 9.2b, right?
Oh, you guys are working on negative square root.
Yeah, don't you wish you were back there?
Yeah, it's easy.
All right.
Oh my gosh.
It's like a dog treat. What is this?
How about we focus on the front here? Okay, here we go. One of them isn't solved, so we have to solve one of them. Hey, starting tomorrow, guess what you're going to do when you see this?
Elimination.
We're going to use elimination. So yes, I'm teaching you something that you literally aren't going to use, but you will use when it says something like y equals, I don't know, 2x plus 4, and the other one looks like this. That's when you will use substitution, right? When both of them are in what's called standard form, boom, we're right straight to elimination. By the way, I haven't said this, but for the non-calculator portion of the test, I don't care how you solve it as long as it's not solved by cheating, right? Meaning that you have the choice of solve by, you're not going to use graphing, but you have the choice of either solve by elimination or substitution. Okay? And so you're going to intuitively use the right one for the right thing after you get the elimination class. Okay, so here we go. The smart choice is the second equation. Haley, was your question. Why? The second is the smart choice. What? Why is the second one the smarter choice to solve? Notice on the first one, I got a 2 attached to x, and I got a negative 14 attached to y. I can solve for x and y on the first one, but then I'm going to eventually have to divide by either 2 or negative 14. It can be done, right? Maybe solving for the x on the first one, but there's less work involved in the second one. I just moved the 7y to the other side, and I'm done. So the second one is your better choice. So I take the second equation, x minus 7y equals 9, add 7y to both sides, and it now says x is equal to 7y plus 9. Yes? My first equation says 2x minus 14y is equal to 18. So this part right here is what I'm going to substitute into the second one. Turn around, boys.
They're cutting poop with
I
scissors.
agreed, but hey, let's focus, please.
Are we not going to talk about it?
Hey.
We said agreed to it.
Hey, back up here. Hey, I got no patience for shenanigans today. Please stop. We're going to take this part, Kaylee, and substitute into here where I see an x. So I see an x right there. There are definitely kids in here right now that will do that whole thing in their head. Like they'll do the disturbed property in their head. I just caution you. I'm not saying you can't do it. This one's pretty easy to do in your head. You don't have to do it in your head. You can write out the other equation just as quickly as you can do it in your head. You're like, no, it'll save me work. I can't make too many arguments that it wouldn't. I'm just saying keep yourself from making fewer mistakes. Take the time to write out one little tiny step. So we write 2 times that. So 7y plus 9. If you're going to make a mistake, you're going to forget that it says minus 14y. Minus 14y is equal to 18. Distributive property. We get 14y plus 18, and you can kind of see where this one's going.
The 14 y's go together.
Therefore,
It equals 1.
therefore, infinite solutions. You're left with a true statement and no variables, infinite solution. If this was a no solution, you would have gotten something like that. No solution. Okay. Now, can you tell that from looking at it at the very start? Well, hey, check it out. Divide everything by 2, you get x minus 7y equals 18. I'm sorry, equals 9, and that's what that says literally right there.
But also, though, you can just look their halves of each other.
That's what I just said,
Oh.
right? Now, the kid that's really paying attention, great. But what happens, myself included, well, I kind of already heard you say what the answer was. Most of the time, you're not paying that much attention. So how much time does that take when you're efficient and practiced at this? Okay, that probably ate up 3 or 4 minutes. Not enough that it's going to, keep you from finishing a test. Usually people kick themselves. Oh, why didn't I see that from the start? It's okay. I mean, it just happens. Haley, yes, no? Okay.
Not like the rest, though.
All right. Well, you guys already know all the answers, so all I have to do is collect it. We are ready to move on, and I do want to do at least, I don't know, a third of this together. And the only reason I want to do a third of it together is just to make sure that there are no people hiding out that truly don't know what they're doing, and they're just going to sit there and be happy that they don't know what they're doing. I'm just saying everyone needs it to some degree or else. All right. So I'll let you guys pick the ones that we want to do together, and allow me to get my e-learners, because they didn't get anything out of what we just did, on board here. E-learners, that worksheet is already uploaded. You can see it right now. 9-2C, right there. Share. Sharing is caring.
I don't want to share with you.
What if I don't care?
Fake it. Thank you. All right. Kaylee, you had the last question. You get the first question. Which one you want to do? 1, 2, or 3? Did I give you 4 of these graphing ones? Kaylee, pick one. Let's do number 3 together. We will do 3 because it has a horizontal line there. Number 1. Here we go. To solve this by graphing, okay, we're going to do 2 things. One, we're going to do it literally by hand, and then we're going to grab our graphing calculator to make sure we got both practices. Okay. All right, here we go. To do it by hand, step number 1, you go to your first equation, you graph your y-intercept. My y-intercept is +4. I put a big honking dot on +4. Thank you. Kaylee, what's the slope? Is what? Is what? See what I mean? So I know, because I've seen Kaylee do this before. She knows what she's doing, but that one little mistake right there, boom, you got that one wrong, right? So for those of you that are doing it by hand, I want you to just remember, where are you going to make your mistake? You're going to drop a negative on the slope. Kaylee, what I would do is off to the side, I would literally write -5 over +4. And then if it helps, write rise over run. So this tells me to go down 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then right 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then it looks like we can only fit 2 dots on this one. Well, since this one is solved by graphing, the computer made it. It's one of these dots is the answer. Okay. We go to the second one. Kaylee, we put a big honking dot on -2. And what's the slope on this one? So up 1, right 4. And you can see that if we go up 1, right 4, we're right smack here. And that's your answer. Yes, you can draw 2 lines if you'd like. You don't have to. But the answer, it is required that you write the answer. So the answer is the ordered pair. Don't make it this far and then get it wrong because you just simply write the answer incorrectly. It's +4 is your x value. And what? -1 is your y value. Okay. And yes, we have to have a heart-to-heart talk about calculators. All right. When we get to the test, there is no sharing of calculators. If Aiden has his calculator and Nathan forgets his, tough for Nathan. We're not sharing calculators. Okay? Because you have the answer on the calculator in a memory. Okay? So you have to have a graphing calculator for this test. If you don't have a graphing calculator, I'm going to give you an equation that you cannot solve by hand. On purpose. All I have to do is write an equation, -2x plus 1500.
If I saw that by hand,
What? Well, you never let me finish my statement. Okay. If you don't have a graphing calculator, you have other options. Your other options are, well, you got lots of friends, ask to borrow a friend that's not in this class. Every single 10th grader has one in their, they're using it. If they don't have math when you have math, you want to borrow one from a 10th grader, do that. You might have older brothers or sisters that are in college or higher level math, right? Or another high school. They have a graphing calculator, ask to borrow theirs. Okay. What I don't want to happen is you show up on test day, you don't have a graphing calculator. By the way, when we take the state test this year, it's not CMAS, your 9th graders. It's PSAT, which is the practice SAT test. Literally designed to give you practice for taking the college entrance test. If you believe that you're going to college or you're even entertaining the idea, you need to get better at your SAT test so you get the highest score possible. How you get better is you take these practice tests. You know, 7th and 8th grade, it's usually hard to motivate you. Yeah, let's take the state test that doesn't give you a grade, means nothing to you. Now, all of a sudden, you get to high school, the PSAT test means something. It will literally tell you, as you stand right now, what you should probably get on the SAT. Like you'll get a test score, and it will be able to predict what you'll get on your SAT. And it's pretty close, unless you make some changes, like you start actually studying. So I highly encourage all 9th and 10th graders to take the PSAT. It's free. It's like, I don't know how many, it's tens of dollars if you want to take it all by yourself. But the state of Colorado gives it to you free. So you have motivation to take that state test, maybe not 7th and 8th grade test. But yeah, I'm going to give you an equation that where the y-intercept is really, you can't do it by graphing by hand. Okay, so make sure you have a graphing calculator. Lastly, not only make sure you have a graphing calculator, you got to make sure you know how to use it, Sierra. So we need to start getting some practice. Okay, then you should be fine. Just get your buddy. You got plenty of buddies.
Including me.
Yeah, but you're going to be using yours.
Okay, but why would I have it in the memory key? Why don't we all just like wipe the memory?
Because then you lose Donkey Kong.
Word lost Donkey Kong.
If you clear the memory, you lose all your games that you have stored on it. All right, that's a funny answer, but the real answer is that, I mean, sharing calculators is not a good thing. Okay, I said I wanted to do number 3. I want to do number 3 because it involves a horizontal or a vertical line. Hey, if you're going to forget something, even though none of you got this wrong last test, like none of you, including you, Tristan, none of you got this wrong. Okay, y = 2 is a horizontal line. Somewhere on your paper resource card, you still need to have that because you will forget. Y = k is a horizontal line. X = k is a vertical line. So on this particular one, solved by graphing, well, this one's pretty simple. You can draw the vertical horizontal line first. It doesn't matter. Y = 2 is a horizontal line. Let me make that red. So that's a, for those of you that possibly miss it, notice it says y equals. So if I go to the y-axis, and I literally find the number 2, and then draw a horizontal line, I got the line. Now, how come I drew a line on this one? Well, it's a horizontal vertical line. It's probably the only one that I will draw right from the start. So all I got to do now is go to that first equation, graph the y-intercept, -1. Kaylee, the slope of the first one is? Did it again. So what can I do to help you from making that mistake? Like, we got to come up with a strategy, because you literally just did it twice in a row. I know, but I'm saying, how can we keep you from making that mistake? Because you didn't see it either time, even though all I had to say is, what's the slope? And then you looked at it, you're like, oh, it's negative. So what can we do? Like electric shock, like a taser or something like that?
Lobotomies don't. No.
I don't think a lobotomy would help math speaking, but maybe, yeah. But don't make that, because you'll easily get that one wrong just by making a silly mistake like that. Okay, so we go down 1 over 1. Kaylee, look what happens when I go down 1. If I go down 1 over 1, am I getting closer or farther away from the line? So we want to go in the opposite direction. So instead of -1 over 1, it would be the opposite of that. Opposite of -1 is 1. The opposite of 1 is -1. Therefore, you can see, just follow your string of dots right here. We get to this point right here, which is, once again, don't make it that far and then write the wrong answer. That's -3, +2. -3, +2. Grab your graphing calculators and confirm. One slight notice, remember, this particular graphing calculator will not graph vertical lines. So I won't give you one on the test with a vertical line, because I want to give you one that, unless you're doing it by hand, I won't give you one for the graphing calculator with a vertical line. You should be experts at graphing. Hey, remember, if you graph and you either get an error, look to see if you typed in a negative incorrectly with a minus sign instead of the negative key. If it says window error, that means that you need, your zoom is wrong, so go to zoom fit. Yeah, those are probably the two key things if you run into a problem with a graphing calculator. I mean, to clear everything, it's 2nd plus 712, but there's no reason that you should have to do that unless you put it in Japanese. How did I call that?
In Asian?
Did you just say mine's in Asian? That was
Asia is a continent, not a language.
that was very Asian. That was a
Well, it's as close to stepping over the R line as possible.
yeah.
It's not working.
Okay, blue key,
I did.
the number 7, I'm sorry, 2nd plus 712.
And then press enter. Don't forget to press enter.
You got it?
No. It's still like long.
We're going to have big issues if you can't do 2nd plus 712. Are you holding the second button down? Is that the problem?
It's not working.
Smartest man alive.
Why is it so hard to do?
Well, I've never.
I was just doing this one.
That's
Somehow I'm
There's a conflict. Bro, you were in a
Who's sitting next to you?
It'll do flashcards, right?
What do you mean? Okay.
I want to reset.
All right, so there's your quick review on graphing by hand, graphing on a graphing calculator. The rest of the sheet is on solve by substitution. If you want to use your graphing calculator to check, well, you don't need to check your answers, because the answers are on the back. But if you want to use your graphing calculator for more practice, well then, here's the only issue. All the ones that I gave you for solve by substitution, they're not both in the form other than the first two. They're not in the form of y equals mx plus b. It is too much work to put it in the form of y equals mx plus b. So I guess my point I'm trying to make is,
Practice that.
well, practice substitution.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Sierra's throwing a hissy fit about she wants to do this whole thing as an individual instead of a group. So what I'll say is this: I'm okay with that. I wanted to do the graphing part though, just so that we had practice. Please use this time wisely. Like if you're running into issues with your substitution, call me over. We can do it on the board. We can do it on your sheet of paper, whatever helps you the most. But make sure you do this. The common errors are when you do the substitution and then there's a distributive property involved. You don't distribute the number twice. Obviously, dropping negatives is always a common thing. When you look at the answers in the back, there are no unfriendly answers. There's nothing here that's a fraction. They're all nice, friendly answers. So that when you do this, you should. And then, Rowan, I think you need to close the window. You can't deal with that much distractions. I know. I'm not saying I don't think you can work with that thing open. I know you do, but I'm saying I don't think you can get the whole thing done with that much distraction.
He doesn't believe in you.
That's discrimination.
Discrimination would be me giving him the hard ones and giving you guys all the easy ones. And I'm doing that because he's got short hair. That would be discrimination.
It is.
No, that's Harris. What's the Latin word for hair?
We don't hit.
He doesn't teach us how to talk. He just teaches us how to race.
Okay.
Pokemon.
-3, right?
Are you okay?
We just
Slope is-
You just.
You got a flappy?
So that was done.
What?
So that was correct, right?
That's big.
There's y-intercept. What's the slope? Right. Then. So you should look at it. Now do that from that up. Down one. Over one. Okay, you just went to the left. To the left is negative.
For their debuffs?
So 3 times the problem was negatives.
I can give you a lot.
So you get x equals 0.
Okay, watch her say 9.
This is the only one that you really get the rest of them. This one is
Jeremy's gonna look at me and be like, no, he's not. That's not how that works. He's not one of those. Yeah, he's not one of those.
No.
You just look at the track and be like, okay.
No, did you not see the warning? Did you do this?
Oh, yeah, version 2. I'm really happy with it. So, like, I know how to grab, but, like, I forgot my graph. What's that?
Don't forget it.
Oh my gosh.
1884, the most is 2004. Okay.
So,
I got a shiny,
Oh, you did one. You just drove by that.
Let's go.
What's his
Which was hilarious. So I was not letting on hang out at work.
Bro, I've had that dude since
Don't worry
like.
about this one.
Zero score.
I should say like control your life. Last year,
Is it working?
Yeah.
Is it really?
Hold on. Let me actually.
And I tried to do it, it didn't work. So maybe I just
Where does it say what? Instead of
Hold
one,
on, I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you messed up your
Target.
Second plus 712.
Wait, I thought we should.
I think so, yeah.
I'm saying the legendary.
It's
It's
seven,
in the
the number
legendary.
is 7, 1, and 2. So just try all those.
What's our
You
version?
get it right eventually.
I'm like 180. Cool.
That's kind of correct.
Make sure you're around.
It's a 2017 Lucky Ekans.
All you had to do was clear around.
I don't know. That sounds good with a ram. Good gun model. I mean, actually, it's nerdy smart.
Oh, whiskey no way at the top.
Nerdy smart. He's being a geek.
Oh, that's shiny. Oh, just still be shiny. Listen to this podcast.
That's just what I want to
What's the guy with the Animax one?
Once you have your X's on one side,
You need them to correct these.
So they go.
Is that perfect?
No,
I remember the 0 and 1. They're really great. And then they watch. They watch like
Zero star. Complete 0 star. Nothing. 0. Shiny. No impurity. When you it's usually bring 3 stars up. But if it's still at 0,
That's really rare. But then you're gonna see.
you know what? This okay, you know what the app is
You wait for the
I paid 20,000.
I need to use it for you. That's the. For a family though.
Just don't like
Yeah, that's much I'm gonna get. I'm gonna just recreate my height. Oh, you want to trade? I'm on my phone. You go to the park with me, so I'm gonna wait for my park and redo my road.
That's it. I'm like,
Oh, just down one of those. Like, yeah,
how
long is it? Wait, I could.
There's no point in going to someone dies.
Oh, you have to be here at 4? I might try to. What?
Yo, I finally.
oh, are you?
Oh, lucky little Oh, that's all the way up. That's why I said he's a CP10 Pidgey that's the 4-star. Did I have the star?
Yeah.
I heard this is
The first ones are always, did they make a third one? That's the first one. That's the first one. First one you want to.
Oh, no, you don't.
That's already things, and the second one you get a baby did.
He just purified He just purified the site. Landon, he just purified the site. I'm at 40 right now.
You're joking.
Just purify this site. We're trying to pull up the site.
Like ruins it, right? Like, oh, it's still powerful. Rylan, that decreases the damage it does by 50%.
No, it does.
Is it alien? Bro, why would you call it
And they all have to be purified and cool. You put it in a shadow.
And I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna do Island.
Dude, why can't they
This
use
is the
like
top lane.
Yo, what's up?
It was like.
you know, they're trash. Imagine playing Fortnite. When you're in a battle, you just gotta keep scanning. No, I'm using those swords.
Yeah, that's the most.
I want to get guard. I want to get
A shadow. If I trade him to you,
It's so hard on this, but my visual is a little bit from the ICP.
You
opened it. I wasn't up, but
It's funny that you guys got these guys who don't know Pokemon. They're good for the last one, like Pokemon.
negative check.
Why you want
Let's start.
I'm only on
I don't know why these do it, but I think.
Bro, I still.
I have a CP 4000 Dragonite.
Yeah, I want like.
I'm calling. That's how I shot myself.
But that's what we like to play Smash.
I guess it's not metal.
I don't.
Imagine taking your like.
What?
You got the shiny from the wood chest.
Just power up the one stuff. You have to change it. It might change it.
Why? I don't want it.
Give them a legend.
1,800.
I'll take it.
With electric is super effective. I don't want to break up. Of course, I'm trying to juice and match it.
Get this guy border.
No.
I was thinking about it pretty good. So they get really strong.
I got a white one the other day. It's not worth it.
I've got a receipt. What the? Not that. That's coming out.
No. Electric. Yeah.
It's called Middleton.
Yeah, milk tank.
That's my social house. That's my social house right here. Social house.
I like the ones that are making the noise. I can drink His bowl is so hard. What do you want to hold?
So.
I can't believe so.
All these things are about.
What are you gonna do?
What? Did you know?
Give you a jolt yawn.
No, I'm gonna give
Ten actually the number of man.
For what?
I don't know, whatever you want. You asked for it.
With 2 HP.
I'll start.
He's kind of.
Did you say I'll start?
Right, battle name, bro.
Hold on. I'm being ready.
Only one.
Just go to
Alright, let's do
Eight down there. Oh yeah, we did.
Oh, so use that. Make your nails. Use that.
Already started.
What if you get 21? You have 3 shinies. He's gonna try to shine for a fan.
Ways to affect it. Like, it's not even fair. Why just wake less correct? Cheating.
He's not even good at this swipe. Standing on X.
Oh, you losing?
Yeah.
You're not winning.
You got 4 friends. You got 4 pieces of candy. Don't let Harley give you candy.
What, my defense fell?
I haven't.
All of this.
That was
I know.
Never.
I'm not going to shield. I'll use shields on my final one.
I don't have any shade negative.
Alright, let's go on for now.
No, sure.
Team Sierra.
Like right now.
We did for Johnny the Shield.
But like,
At school, she says there's actually.
No, I haven't even asked. Bring out this.
You said exclusion.
Last time it was.
I'm not kidding.
Yeah, you get your shields.
It's on the ice beam.
Oh, you're wrong. Me? You're last.
Oh no, what do you beg more stars in final?
Mark.
Yeah.
I already know. Yeah, they're already matched.
And so.
I'm setting you up for my trip.
Me?
I'm setting you up.
Trapper.
And they're like,
Tell me this is.
yeah.
Here we go.
But then,
Go back to the.
Well, I have no, it's ready.
Yeah. And then they got.
I got the dead guy.
That's
See why, right?
Oh, yeah, I saw it. Oh, it's super good.
This one.
The house in Maine is big. The house that we're looking at in Maine is huge. It's got a roof. So we have part of it. It's like your house. We own part of it.
Where are you guys?
Wait, what? I should have made it this not.
It's not Geese, chickens.
We love a man that tells the truth.
I don't know. I just trying to do purple. I know that.
My sister looks like
I've been told I look like a hobo. I've been
so
you expect me to be on 13-hour flight in a dress?
So
Like,
we go
no.
to a
Wait, what's weird? You actually freaked out.
we go into a mixed not a fancy ball.
I mean, I would do that too.
We could be going to a bar.
I just shiny.
Get dress, makeup.
I'm a stinky eater.
Okay, like,
I'm excited.
It's only the airport where I'm like, how long is this flight? Like, I can, like, if it's a car, like,
Yeah.
but like, I know it's hard because you're watching it like it's gonna be, because we're doing it like,
That's not really for me.
yeah. Yeah, we went down to the trail, I was like, I'm back there, and I'm just like, I was like, I really can't do all this.
Then
It's hot, and I was in my sweats and jacket.
this is gonna be a perfect knot right here, but this is gonna be all.
I'm excited.
I'm just gonna
I'm excited to see how.
And like, we didn't do that, we would do that was good knot, like 12 hours, or like.
We're shiny peppers, okay.
Shiny, I feel like-
She knows what.
I didn't catch one during the.
I'm excited to see I slap the cow, little pigs. I put my dress on, but yeah. Time to butcher the pigs. I put my dress on. Try me so.
There's no way that snap my fingers.
Bro, get the
You're gonna make it.
Oh yeah. No, I know. I was just joking. My dad used to. My dad used to work at home.
You know what to do. I know. But I'm saying, you know that when you get that step, tell yourself. It's like, yeah,
Shiny bunny earring.
And they know right there.
Oh wait, you weren't there anyway. You don't even know who's slow is.
But I remember I'm like,
And then like,
My brother has it. Teacher. Show that. My brother has it. I mean, most of me waited to kill it.
You would have gotten it, you would have gotten that.
My dad used to work at home.
all right, we're gonna pick up all the duties, right?
Oh,
That you made.
You better start.
I thought you were cutting it or something.
He was cutting it.
Whoever was cutting this will be picking up all the pieces.
If
If you cut something, you don't have one piece.
Oh, well, if it was two. Then he cut it. Ow, my leg.
There's some good math there.
I feel like that's
It's over here.
And I divide it in half.
As long as
How many do you got?
there's still one
Yeah.
that ate the other. That one.
You're the one that was cutting them.
No, this is the one. New one. This is a new one.
Does that not
Yo,
record
somebody in
the
this document is
Dude,
It's plastic.
We're gonna move the. We're gonna see the Minecraft name.
don't put it on my desk. You
Uh,
mean?
Probably during the session. We found out.
I had some friends that knew the name for that.
I got part of
Brutal
That's
winners.
mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna do a homestead. Dad used to work in a hog farm stuff.
Oh, that smell.
What?
He's also used to work in a farm period. He got his ribs broken.
Chicken farms and
Yeah, it's
hog farms are, I mean, not that any coop smells good, but I can deal with a dairy farm. But hog farm, chicken farm, boy, that's nauseous stuff. I like to eat pigs and eat chickens, but boy, I had to work on a dairy farm. That's how I learned German.
You know, it takes a lot. I love that smell.
You didn't hand yourself one and then you lost it.
You know,
I'll get you one.
of course, like, is it? Sure.
All right.
I'll have a go.
Order.
Oh, it's another one. Oh, dude, see this one there, follow me. There's one other.
You're not breathing. What you say?
Say, all right, what are these? No, get off it. What are these?
Have you ever seen the movie Capture?
Oh,
yeah. Somebody throws a bait in the pool. And then everybody runs away, and then they show people like chemical hazmat suits. And then the person picks it up and they go like this, and they pull out their mask.
No, I
3 minutes. E-learners, anybody online?
Whole Aberline in the
I have a hard time with video.
No one is online. We'll end it right there, E-learners. If you have any questions, send me a check.